Happy Monday, everyone. It has been a very long but wonderful weekend. I'm excited to catch up with you guys tonight. I just had to add, for those of you who just started tuning into this show, you should know that there's nothing professional about the setup. Hi, Stace. And if you could see what's going on right now, I basically stack my shoe boxes to hold my laptop up at an angle that is somewhat flattering, and I just had to add another one because I couldn't deal with what was happening. Hi, Steph. So we're going to roll with my husband's suggestion that he gave last week, where he said that this is like a real show and I need to have kind of a show format. And I feel like when I asked you guys, it was split down the middle 50-50. Half of you said, no, just do the free form thing. And half of you were like, no, we like the format. Not that I don't love all of you, but a couple of the people who loved the format were friends of mine who are they have jobs, like they're actual news anchors. So I had to take their feedback into consideration. Hi, Mom. Um, so I'm gonna go with the format, but I'm still gonna be Rachel, and we're gonna have conversation. If I go off on tangents, um, you're gonna have to just deal with it because that's just the way that it is. So I figured, we talk a lot about kids and how our kids make us crazy, and we're gonna do that tonight also. But I have my show notes here on my fun little pads from Fun with Pads. And I think that tonight's topic of the day, we're going to talk about marriage. I don't want to say I'm an expert, but I have been married more than once, so I feel like I have a little bit of experience under my belt. So I think we should talk about it. I think that whether you are married or divorced, or even, let's not say we're talking about marriage, we're going to talk about relationships. Some people are in long-term relationships and there's no legal paper or rings or whatever, and that's okay too. So if I keep saying marriage, it still applies to you if you're in a domestic partnership of any style, because it's a big part of your life probably, and it relates to your kids and your dynamic. And I want to talk about it for a number of reasons. I keep seeing articles come out. One that I saw most recently, excuse me, I wish I would have pulled it, but I didn't. But it said something like, um, stop telling me I'm lucky that my husband helps me with the kids. That was either the headline or a subhead, or it was something in the social posts. And I wanted to like stand up and give a standing ovation, because here's how I feel about it. I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. I'm talking about my own experience, and I realize that maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm pretty unfiltered, and this is my platform to be able to say what I want. So I'm going to say it. And if you disagree, that's totally fine, and we can have a conversation about it. But here's how I feel. It is when someone says to you things like, oh, you're so lucky your husband helps. It's almost as insulting as and annoying as when people say, oh, who's babysitting your kids? Your husband? We're not. Husbands and spouses in general, moms too, are not babysitters. You're parents. If you help make the baby, if you help adopt the baby, if you're involved in the surrogacy of the baby, if you are a parent figure, however that baby came into your life, you have a responsibility to help with the baby. So I realize it can go both ways, but moms typically do pick up most of the slack. And I think a lot of us do things willingly, even though we bitch about it because we want it done our way. I think it's totally normal for that to happen. But if I had $1 for every time I hear, oh, you're so lucky your husband helps. No, I'm not lucky. It's designed that way. That is by design. And I think it comes from very honest conversations and communication before there's even a baby. Per example, when Jason and I met, we had a lot of honest conversations, which I think is so important when you are choosing to spend your life with someone or be in a relationship with them that is on a serious level. Because when you start sharing a household together and you start paying bills together and you start just doing, you're sharing a space, if you don't have those honest conversations and put everything on the table before that happens, you are going to be in for a world of surprise. And there's some big things you don't even think about before you get married. I don't even know if I have like young people who watch me, or if everyone is in this demographic, but consider this a PSA. Do not get married or be in a relationship with someone until you discuss these big things: religion, how you want to raise your kids, discipline, boundaries with family, parents. Like, you have to discuss all these things, because the worst thing that can happen is you're madly in love and you're with this person and you're in a relationship, whatever it is, and then one of these things comes up and you are on completely opposite sides. So to me, one of those big things is your children. Everything about your children, how you want to raise them, what you believe for values, what you see for them in terms of school. And some of these things may seem really premature to talk about, Stephanie. It doesn't bother me as much when we use words like help out, because it's just the words we use. I do agree when you say you're so lucky, blah, blah, blah. That does irritate me. Yeah, I don't really care so much either about the words. I guess I'm more saying, like, when someone says, like, oh, it's so great that your husband lets you go to dinner with your girlfriends and he watches the kids. Well, why is that great? We're married and we're a team, and sometimes we do things separately, and one person picks up the slack of the other people. And I am so bad at asking for help. I am bad. I will run myself ragged to the point where I'm like twitching in the corner, and my husband will be like, can you just, I got it, can you go? But you know, he is wonderful and great, but I do think that when you are married or in a relationship, it's hard. It is hard, even the good ones. And I don't think I ever paint a perfect picture of my life. I think I'm very open. Oh, Kel, I miss your face too, way too much. Um, we're nowhere near perfect, but we are happy and we are solid and we have open communication. Oh, look, he's right here. Babe, I'm talking about you. Um, Stacy, I think the challenge in blended families is how the children are raised in the other homes. It's a very good point, and I will get to that. But I want to just say this. So stop with the like asking permission. Like, stop. If you are in a situation where you have to ask permission to do something, I don't feel like that's healthy. I just don't. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a marriage therapist. I'm just talking, I'm having real talk right now. When Jason and I have something that the other wants to do that doesn't involve each other, we don't ever say, like, babe, can I, like, there's no permission. We'll be like, hey, do we have anything on the calendar for this day? And like, we make sure there's a courtesy that we check with each other, but never once in a million years in our relationship do I think Jason and I would ever ask the other person permission to do something. We're very respectful of each other. We're respectful that sometimes I want to see my friends without men involved, and he does too. And so I think it's a healthy part of a relationship. And what I see happening so much is that women who I know are unwilling to let their husbands put the kids to bed, or they'll be like, oh no, he can't put the kids to bed, they won't listen. If you do not, if you don't operate in a partnership, of course your kids aren't going to expect it. And I realize every household is different. That's totally fine. You do what works for you. But never in a million years would I not go somewhere because I have to stay home. I have to put my kids to bed. I have to, first of all, Jason puts the baby to bed every night because that's his time with her. But you have to have whatever works for you, but it has to be a team. You shouldn't, it always makes me think of that scene. If you guys saw Bad Moms, if you saw Bad Moms, raise your hand. But there's a scene with Kristen Bell, who is like the sweetest, most innocent character. Like, she's like a total, very waspy sweater around the neck, you know, wearing her kid's macaroni necklace, and like just like this perfect mom character. And her husband does nothing. He basically just bosses her around. She has like a dozen children. I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot of kids, and he does nothing. He does nothing. Yes, he goes to work, which is something, but when it comes to the kids, he comes home, he bitches if there's not dinner on the table, he gives her a hard time. And one day she just snaps in the car with her girlfriends, and is when he's asking her to do something, and she basically tells him to go fuck off. And then their whole relationship changes, and the role reversal and the power struggle just gets flipped around. But it shouldn't even be like that. I know that if there's something I want to do and I say to Jason, hey, I want to have dinner with my girlfriends, never is he going to say to me, no, you have to put the kids to bed. He's so good. As a matter of fact, when my cousin was in town this weekend from New York and we couldn't get a sitter, he said, I'll stay home with the kids, go catch up with your cousin. So there's that mutual respect and that understanding that, like, sometimes we are going to do things without each other, and that's okay. And it's not like keeping score, keeping tally. We are a team. We made this baby together, and we had very honest conversations about if we, God willing, could have another baby, that I was not I was not doing it 1950s style, that it was going to be all hands on deck. And while I understood he has to obviously get up and function and go to work, guess what? I have to get up and function and deal with two children and work and run a household and put dinner on the table. And he's very good about appreciating that. And I realize not everyone looks at it the same way. And if you're happy in your relationship the way that it is, and there's a unbalance of power, then more power to you. That is totally, I'm happy that you have that. But I'm so sick and tired of Michelle. He is pretty darn great. I'm so sick and tired of coming into contact with people and reading about people saying things like, oh, you're so lucky your husband helps. He's not helping. They're his kids. He takes care of his family. Like, stop. I feel like we have started this, I don't know who started it, not we, but there's this old school archaic thinking that mom has to do everything. And I think by design we do a lot, and that's okay, but I can't stand when people basically just let dads off the hook and they're like, oh, it's so great, look, he took his kid to the grocery store, let's give him a trophy. No, give me a break. Enough is enough. Can't take it anymore. Stacy, teamwork makes the dream work, so they say. Preach, sister. Danielle, yes, amen. I got lucky with my husband. No 1950s style here either, honey. Good for you. Shouldn't be. Michelle, yes, your mama confirmed that. Yes, he's great. Okay, so Stace, you brought up a good point before. You said that when you are married and it's a blended family, sometimes it can get tricky because of what's going on in the other homes. And I agree with you 100%. And it used to drive me crazy because I do share custody of my older daughter with her dad, who is not my current husband. And we sometimes have different styles, and one is not better or worse. It's just not every house is always going to do things the same. And so it can get a little bit challenging when, you are co-parenting a child when they're going to someone else's house. And I think that what I've learned the most, instead of making those little, if you have a blended family, for me, what's worked the most, and aside from my current husband talking me off the ledge every second about when I feel like I'm going to lose my mind because there's a million moving parts, you can't control what goes on in anyone's home. And this is true not even just for blended families, but when your kids sleep out or do whatever, you can't control what goes on in someone else's home. You can't control the rules they have. You can't control the things that are said to your child, or when you're not there. All you can do is control yourself and the way that you act. And so I always make a point when I'm having conversations with my kids to let them know that, like, not everyone has the same opinion about anything in life, and that's okay. And we have to just kind of accept that and realize that what goes on in our house may be different in other homes, and that's just the way that it is. I don't know any other way to explain it. Michael, Jason, sit back and enjoy. The wife is quelling about you. He knows, Michael. I always quell about him. He's a good guy. I'm very lucky that I have him, but I'm not lucky that he helps. He helps because he's a good man, and that's the way that it should be. Michelle, you are right, Rachel. My husband is coming around. He takes the kids to school every day. That's great. Stacy, oh, I disagree. One way is better. I know that you disagree. Some things never change. I've known Stacy since she's 5 years old, so we have some history here. Stephanie, can't control others. A lesson for all life. Yes. And somebody else just posted, Susanna Kearns, who's a writer who I just love her work, but I also follow her on social. And she just posted a quote that said something like, we need to teach our daughters that it's okay. I don't know if it said daughters or kids. I thought it said daughters, but we need to teach our daughters that in life, not everybody's going to like them. And I think that's such a hard lesson. I talk about this with my older one all the time. She's at the point now where she's texting. See, I already went off script. I stopped talking about marriage for a second. I can't do the whole structured format thing. She's texting, and it makes me crazy. But I know that it's like the way that kids communicate. But I also want to be that helicopter mom and read all of them and make sure there's nothing like crazy going on, because you just never know what these kids are talking about. And when I see how quickly these girls turn on each other, not even because they're bad kids, but like something will get taken out of context and someone's mad at someone and that person's telling the other person. I can't take it. And Stacey, you're on here, so tell me. I don't remember ever having this stuff with my friends. I don't. Like, yes, you have little tiffs here and there throughout the years because girls are girls, but I don't ever remember having such crazy, constant fighting and all that stuff within my groups of girlfriends. There was always like a person who was difficult, but for the most part, I feel like it always worked, and I don't get it. I don't get how to fix it. I don't even know what advice to give because I want to just tell her, screw them. If they're giving you, if I do tell her all the time, if someone's making you feel like shit about yourself, they're not good friends. So I know it's a hard pill to swallow because you want to be friends with everyone, but it's not reality. And it's very hard because that's the adult brain. And I'm trying to reconcile it with the kid brain who obviously wants to be friends with everyone in her class. And I want her to be that way. But it makes me so angry when I see the way girls treat each other sometimes. It makes me nuts. Stacy, I tell my husband all the time that he should be the role model of the type of man that our girls should want to be 100% and should be with. Yes, Stacy, we had small things, stupid things. Yes, agreed. Thank you for validating. Jason and I talk about setting an example, especially for our girls all the time. And he is very good about showing things with actions, you know, like, yes, he is the guy who will come in with flowers, but more importantly than flowers, he'll come in with, you know, buy one, get one free detergent from Costco, which to me is just as good as flowers. I get just as excited. And so I feel like he sees, my girls see what it's like for someone to be a mensch and to take care of me emotionally and with those little things he brings home and just to be a good partner. And it is so important for kids to see that. So, so, so important. I think that you take that, they internalize things that you don't even realize that they're seeing. And it is so important for them to see those little things and to see the affection. I mean, I grew up, my parents got divorced when I was 22 and it was a very ugly divorce. But until that point, I have very vivid memories. I had a great childhood. My parents were affectionate. They hugged and kissed in front of us. Like, some people get weird about that stuff. I want my kids to see that. It is so important to me that they see that in a healthy relationship. Joanna, I think it's so much easier for them to fight now because half the time they aren't speaking face to face and fighting via text is easier. 100% agree. And I actually said to my daughter the other day, I said she was having something with a friend over text, and I said, stop texting and FaceTime or call. And she goes, no, I don't want to. I'm really upset. And it's so upsetting because it is the way that things kind of go these days. And I get it. I'm a big texter. I will always text before I call, but I'm also 41 years old and I know I can 99.9% of the time read the tone in something and know that it's not meant to pick a fight, but it makes me crazy. Sometimes I want to just take the phone away completely. Oh, my mom is saying also, so many of your friends' parents were friends. Yes, that is one of the biggest differences I notice now. Growing up, all of my core friends, our parents were all friendly with each other, like did things socially outside of us. And so there was always that comfort level, whether we were sleeping out or whether we were all together doing something, or whether it was the birthday party circuit or bar and bat mitzvah circuit, there was that natural comfort because everybody knew everyone. Everyone knew everyone's parents. And I don't feel like that now. I feel like I see the parents superficially. We exchange emails about, school stuff. We see each other if we drop the kids off for play dates, but there aren't those relationships. And you're so right, Mom. That is probably the biggest difference I see now. And I don't know why that's changed, because I don't really know anyone my age unless they got really lucky and from the time they were, birthed their kids to going through school, they develop these close relationships. I don't really know a lot of people who consistently hang out with all of their kids' friends. I do have with Sienna right now a group of women that I met through Mommy and Me who I adore and love, and I hope they're in my life forever because we just all get us along so well and our babies get along so well, and it's so nice. But it is very different from the way that I grew up, and I don't know why. Stacy, unfortunately, times have changed. Our kids are growing up in a different day and age. We had answering machines, for goodness sake. We did have answering machines. And Stacy, you remember the messages we used to leave on answering machines for the outgoing message that people would hear? And I know that we are not the only ones. I know this was a thing. Do you remember how we used to like sing songs or put snippets of songs from the radio and make like a whole variety show on answering machines? Or was that just us weirdos? It can't have been. Stacy, oh yes, a lot of them. My glass, by the way, today says Meshuggah, which I think I had last time. I don't think I had Oy vey. I had Meshuggah. Jessica, we had to speak to our friends' parents when we called. Maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, I had my own phone line when I don't remember, Mom, when you got it for me. I want to say I was like 13, 12 or 13, something like that. But my parents were very, very involved in my social life. And my house was There's always those houses where everyone comes over. My house was that house. So my parents knew everyone, everyone. Stacy, those were the good, simple times, my friend. Yes, they were. Where you had a pager when you were 16 and had to pull over to a payphone to call anyone back. Stephanie, I was just thinking I should make my voicemail a song like back in the day. Oh, you did that too? See? Okay, it wasn't just us. All right, so I talked about marriage. So the net with the whole marriage thing is, if you're one of those people who is constantly asking your spouse for permission to do something, maybe try and like take a little bit of control back and remember that you are in a partnership, and maybe that's not the best way to go about things. Jason, wait, I had the whole speech from Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction on my answering machine. You did not, babe. And he could probably still recite it. We were a little more, we made like mashups, I guess that's what the kids would call them now. All right, so that was our topic of the day. Getting back to our kids, here's my vent sesh topic. Oh wait, let me read these comments first. Stephanie, yep, my sister and I had a phone line. It was the internet line that we used when no one was online, like the fax machine line that would do that really annoying noise. Stacy, the best memories I have are the times we met at people's houses. We made jingles. We did make jingles. All right. So my vent sesh for tonight deals with children. And before I say this, I want to preface it by saying, please don't like come on here when I say this and tell me that I'm not parenting right, or that I need to like take control and do whatever. Because if this doesn't happen to you and you are my people, then you're lying, because I'm going to call bullshit. Not all kids are perfect. So, my vent sesh tonight is why every single thing that comes out of my mouth that I ask my children to do is treated as if it's the opening negotiation in a hostage situation. Like, it could be, can you throw this away in the garbage, please? And it's never like, yeah, sure, mom, no problem. Never. Even if they're standing next to the garbage, there's always like okay, give me 1 minute. I just have to do X, Y, Z. Like, it's never just a simple yes or no. And I say to my little one, is obviously too little to understand, but I say to my older one, this is not a negotiation. I know it doesn't seem like this, but I am in charge. Like, I am driving this ship 1,000%, and you are my passenger. So if I ask you to do something, maybe try, no problem, mom, and like see what happens. You might actually be really surprised in like the things that ensue from that type of behavior, versus me asking you to do something 150 times and it's not done. It never gets done, and then I lose my mind. They chip away at our sanity and they get mad at us for being insane, but they're the ones making us insane. And I don't know how we stop this cycle. Hi, Stacy. The other Stacy. Now I have two Stacys here. I don't know how we stop this cycle. And I don't care what you say. I don't care if you want to pretend like your children always listen to you. You're full of shit if you sit there and you tell me your kids always listen to you. Sometimes we have wonderful moments, and sometimes we are scraping by, and that is real life. So don't sit here and tell me that you are like a perfect disciplinarian. We all have our moments. The reality is, when my children start chipping away at my sanity by negotiating with me, I start to lose my mind slowly, and then I just give up because I can't have the fight anymore, and I'll just throw it away myself. And I know that's not the right thing to do. Let me go on record by saying, I know I'm doing myself no favors, but I am tired, you guys. I can't do this every day. Stacy, of course, if we did the same thing, they'd freak out. Oh, I have this conversation. If Ava asks me for something and I go, remember when like 5 minutes ago I asked you to throw something away and you gave me a whole song and dance, but like right now you want water? It makes me insane. Stephanie, yep, same here. No idea how to stop it. Okay, thank you for validating instead of trying to act like that I'm faking the funk. Jessica, my 11-year-old says 5 minutes. Anytime I ask her to do anything, I'm so annoyed by it. I'm going to start doing that to her because I'm done also. I can't stand the 5-minute thing. Mom, I'll do it in 5 minutes. Mom, I'll do it in 5 minutes. Jessica, maybe we should get like egg timers. And I just thought of this. Maybe we should do this. We should get egg timers. And when they say, give me 5 minutes, I will stand in her room next to her with the egg timer and get a really loud one. I will stand in front of her with the egg timer and stare at her like this, or your iPhone, whatever. I don't know why I said that. We have timers. I will stand like this and just wait. and wait and wait. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it and report back to you. And I'm going to let you know what happens. And we'll see. Maybe it will backfire. A lot of the stuff I do that I think is like brilliant backfires. Jessica, mine is nearly 3. He's fully in charge, fully. Oh, no. I understand. My little one that turns 2 on Wednesday owns me, owns me. I tell her no, and she literally looks at me and laughs. And she has not her discipline and all that stuff hasn't even been like touched yet. Like she knows time out, she knows no. She looks at me and laughs as if I am the village idiot. Jessica, oh, you set your phone sometimes, but do you do it in front of them? And do you stand there while the time is running out? Because that's what I need to know. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe it's not just setting the timer, but it's standing in their faces with the timer going as they're watching the numbers dwindle. And then you go, okay, time's up. Jessica, let's try it. If you haven't done it that way, let's try it and see what happens. Stephanie, oh, my kids will do it. Slow as molasses and then half-assed. Always slow. Always. Always. Stacy, well, they say parenting is trial and error, right? Can't hurt to try. I'm totally going to try it. I'm doing it. But I feel like maybe, maybe there needs to be some fanfare. And instead of like the iPhone, maybe there needs to be one of those old-fashioned annoying alarm clocks that dings really loud. There needs to be something. And I'm not even going to tell her it's happening. It's just going to happen. I'm going to have to order something from Amazon. And as soon as that she says something to me, like, I will do it in 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever it is, I'm setting the timer and I'm not leaving her side. That's what's going to happen. Oh, here comes my mom. When they say no, tell them you owe them a no. Like I haven't tried that. I tell them that all the time. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for the parenting advice. All right. So we went over marriage. We went over kids negotiating. Also, if you want to give me, I don't want advice, like, I don't want real, like, advice you read in a book about how to get your kids to stop negotiating, because frankly, I think it's all bullshit. I want more things like what I just said about the timer. If you have really fun, off the beaten path ways to get your kids to cooperate, I want you to tell me. You know what I did try? My mom, now my mom says electric collar. That's great, Mom. You went from one side of the spectrum to the other. And you just made me forget what I was going to say. And I feel like it was good. Now I don't remember. Oh, someone told me, when kids throw tantrums, like my little one's age, 2-year-old, they throw tantrums. There's all these things that you are supposed to do and not do and all that stuff. And I think we talked about a while back, Sienna's teacher, who I love, both of them, I love. Karen had said to me, when they get, when they're throwing tantrums, it's not necessarily always behavioral. Sometimes it's them trying to communicate and they're frustrated and they're little, so they're not 100% vocal and they're still learning all their words. And so they panic and get crazy and it results in a tantrum. So you're supposed to like take it down a notch. When they go high, you go low. It's like the opposite of the Michelle Obama thing. And I tried that. I did. When Sienna was losing her mind one day, I was like, it's okay, mommy's here. And then I felt like an asshole because it is not natural to me. It's as much as I know I shouldn't yell, acting like that makes me sound like I should be in a padded cell. So I don't really know what to do. But one of the tactics they say is to imitate them. I don't know if you guys have read that anywhere. Like when they start to lose their shit, you lose your shit back and then they think it's funny and they laugh and it kind of diffuses the situation. So I tried that also. And I actually did it with my older one. We did it together. And the baby thought it was hilarious and just kept getting louder. So that didn't work for me. But I want advice like that. Give me fun things like that to try that might shock the hell out of my kids and get them to not negotiate with me anymore. Stephanie, I made my daughter write lines for sassing years ago. She was maybe 8. It worked so well. She'd throw a fit about doing the lines and I just increased how many she owed. Maybe I need to go back to writing. So like, what would you make her write? I will not sass my mother. I will not sass my mother. I will not sass my mother. And then do you like maybe hang them up on the wall to remind her what the punishment is? I need to know more about this. I'm intrigued. All right. Lastly, this rounding out this show, we're going to talk about some of the topics that I love. The first thing that I got today, fresh in the mail, is I don't know about you guys, but I have to hibernate when I sleep. I have to have earplugs in. I have to have an eye mask on. And I have been losing my eye masks every day. Jason is making fun of me because I don't know where they go. Sometimes they are in plain view. I'm going to own it because he'll call me out anyway. They're in plain view. And sometimes they're under the bed so far I can't see them. They're just, I don't know where they are, but I have 3 or 4 in rotation. And I can't tell you where any of them are right now, but I ordered a new one because my cousin was here this weekend and had one with a few strings. So I ordered this black one and we're going to try it tonight. But I need one of these to sleep. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot sleep without a sleep mask. It is like, I can't do it. I need, like, you know, the lights that blink on everything. This one though has more than one thing, because apparently if there's only one, it moves all over your face. I didn't know that was even a thing. So I'm going to try it and I'll report back to you. Stacy, why earplugs? Does he snore? Not only does he snore, he snores. The big dog snores. Sienna snores, but she's not in our room. But everybody in this house snores except for me and Ava. Stephanie, no, I didn't hang them up because she's so upset and embarrassed that it got to that point. But I'd make the lines for whatever she was doing. I will not sass my mom, or I will listen to my parents. I feel like if I asked Ava to do that, she would look at me and laugh. But I'm not above it. I might try. All right, another thing that I love. This is a twofold product. This is from my friend and chiropractor. This was a recommendation from Dr. Todd Rodman in Boca. If you need a chiropractor in Boca, he is the best. Best. All right, I'm 41. I have like muscle pain. So this rock sauce, okay, it is so wonderful. It's like icy hot type of thing, but it's better. But it has like a strong-ish smell. So this is really good. And the good part about it is it will take your muscle pain away. But the bad part about it, or good part if you don't like your husband, I love my husband, so I don't like when he doesn't want to be near me. The bad part is that it's also like a husband repellent because they don't like how it smells. So maybe if you don't feel like, you know, giving your husband the time of day, you can just put some rock sauce on. But if you really want to hang out with your spouse, then don't use it because it's not a good situation. It's almost like that lactic acid stuff I tried on my face where my husband could not come near me. It was very upsetting. Stacy, do the earplugs help? Because I got issues over here to the point I've recorded Jason snoring like a hibernating bear. I have recorded my Jason so many times, and the reality is it doesn't matter because he knows he snores. He has tried every product that you can possibly imagine except for like a Hannibal Lecter looking CPAP machine. And we're just throwing money at stupid things that just do not work. So I'll tell you this about the earplugs. They take the edge off so it's not so loud, but you still hear it. Unless someone has, I just buy like those foam earplugs from Target or CVS or wherever. But if anybody has like heavy duty ones that you feel like work, let me know. I've actually tried sleeping in like noise canceling headphones, like the Beats by Dre ones, but it's not very comfortable. Stacy, and then we have 2 snoring dogs. Yeah, that's what goes on here. And then I always threaten, I'm like, that's it, I'm going to go sleep on the couch. Well, then I'm getting punished. Why do I have to go sleep on the couch? It's very upsetting. So if you guys have snoring spouses and you have something that works, I need to know about a miracle product. Arlene, my mom, snoring dogs are the worst. They're not worse than snoring husbands. Stacy, I have the air purifier. Yeah, I have a noise machine. I have everything. Nothing works because, you know, it's one of those things is no matter how many sounds you have in the house, once you hear a certain sound, you can't unhear it. That's what happens in my head. Okay. I also want to show you guys, I don't know if you saw what I posted yesterday. We had an early birthday celebration for Sienna since we had family in town. And I just have to show you these because they are so freaking cute. Sugar Dreams cupcakes, and they're on Facebook. You can look them up. I tagged them yesterday in the post. You need to look at these. My child is obsessed with Mickey and Minnie. Look how cute these are. Look at the glitter bow detail on Minnie. We had these for her birthday yesterday. They are so adorable. So thank you, Sugar Dreams Cupcakes, for these. We love them. They were such a hit. Everyone was like freaking out over how cute they were. If you guys need cakes, not cakes, I'm sorry. I know she does some cakes, but mostly cupcakes and cookies. Check them out on Facebook. They are local to South Florida. I'm not sure how far they deliver or get stuff to, but I mean, come on. Tell me these are not the cutest things. Adorable. Just had to share those. So that's one of the things I'm loving. Stacy, yes, I remember Arlene. Piggy slept on my head snoring. That was when her leg was broken, right, Stace? All right, my last thing I want to show you, and I think I showed this many, many months ago, but it is such a good product. I'm not really excellent at makeup, and I end up putting on the days where I have to like adult and be presentable and wear makeup, I feel like it's gone within like an hour. I look washed out and pale and I hate it. But my friend Sherry, who you should check her out on About Face by Sherry. She's a makeup vlogger. She pointed me in the direction of this, and there's a lot of expensive ones. This one is a drugstore one. NYX finishing spray. There's a matte finish and a dewy finish. I like to look fresh and dewy. I don't like the matte look. This is the best. After I put on whatever makeup I'm wearing for the day, I spritz a few things on my face of this, and it's gold. So you guys should definitely try it. Those are my products. Hold on. This is like falling out of my hands. That I'm loving, that I'm sharing with you. That's all I had tonight. I'm going to go take a shower, watch The Bachelor. I didn't even talk about the Super Bowl because I didn't watch it and I heard it sucked anyway. So I don't feel like that's a missed opportunity. But again, if you guys have tips and tricks for the negotiating with kids, send them my way. Let me know. We're gonna work on the egg timer situation, or obnoxious timer. And we're gonna keep on trucking. All right, everybody, have a great Monday, and I will see you all next week. Bye.